Hello, Sil-vi crew. Okay, this is the sound toolbox. It has two inputs in the side for your XLR cables that come down from the DJ booth. Those just plug in the side. And basically the way it works is it's in on these two sides. And then out here on the other side are the four outputs that go to, there's channel 1, channel 2, and then there's a high output and a subwoofer output. So those go to those four cables that go to the speakers that are on Sil-vi. So I'm going to plug this into high for now just to show you. And the way it works inside is, first, the thing we want the driver to see is the thing called volume control. And here I put a little turn me sign on here, and this is just your volume control. That's all they need to worry about. Everything else is preset and pre-wired. I put little marks here. It says button out. This thing has RCA as well as XLR, so these little black buttons have to be out. So make sure those are out. And then you've got controls over volume here. And then for Mr. Lockwood, I have labeled all the cables, channel 1 and 2. These cables come from the solder points here, which go to the exterior. The output of this guy, of this volume control, goes down to the DBX compressor here. And then the DBX compressor has two cables that come out here and go into the mini DSP, which is here. And then the mini DSP splits it into two channels, high and low. So I've labeled where those connectors go and solder to the solder points here, which go to the external exits, the outputs. Okay, so a couple things to know is like, I built this thing so it protects the cables and stuff. So you should never ever need to like open this or lift it out. But if you do, you gotta unplug these guys or the thing won't lift out. The other thing I've done is I've also wired a power strip into here. So here it is. So you've just got one power coming out that powers both the DBX and the mini DSP. You just plug it in and it's good. It's got a little, you can see it's got a little dust guy on it. Okay, the other thing that I've learned is I think the problem we were having with bad sound is that this was being distorted, which meant it was getting too hot a level from the DBX. And I think the reason for that is it was getting an output that was above 6 dB. So here's what I've done. So I have now set this compressor, and I'll take a picture of it. So the DBX compressor, ignore these two. This is just an expander gate. The next thing is important. This threshold is set to 0, which means it starts to kick in its compressor after 0 dB, and that works pretty well. I'll leave this guy on infinite there. And then the rest of it is just attack and release. I'm going to take a picture of it so you can see exactly what the settings are. And then at the very end, there's another peak limiter also set to 0. I'm sorry, that's the gain. I'm sorry, the master gain. The peak limiter is set a little bit higher than 0 down here. It's like around +3 or so. And the reason I'll show you when I crank it up, I've got it set where if you hit it really hard, it's gonna basically try to keep the mini DSP from overloading. And it's just right at the edge. I wouldn't turn it up any higher or you're gonna get distortion. But it's all set and it works in a stereo coupled mode. So really just the settings on this side matter. The channel 2 ones, there is a stereo couple button that's illuminated there. That means basically that this side controls both. All right, so let's put some music on. So if you look over here, we've got our maximum. So I'm gonna turn it up to like so here, this is from the DJ booth. Imagine we were just clipping into 6 there. Okay, great. Now I've got the volume control here. So I'll turn that up all the way. And you can see now that the compressor is just barely kicking in. You can see the limiters sign. Now, if I make it go insane, I put it to clipping over here. Here you'll see the compressor kicking in. So basically it's set to make sure that distortion doesn't happen. So as long as from the DJ booth, you keep levels below +6, everything should sound pretty good. So that's it. I'm gonna take a picture.